ZA.
Welcome to Brand Love. You here with your show host Wandile Ngobese. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence and the impact on the South African economy. So, so the show today is a very new show today called the Millennial Investor, where we're going to be focusing on financial literacy and engaging with our listeners on matters that affect the South African economy and the global economy. As I've mentioned, that the topic for today will be artificial intelligence and the impact on the South African economy. Before I wrote this article, I went back to do some research on the first industrial revolution, which took place in the 1700s. Automation had paved the way for cheaper and more efficient practices in production. This resulted in production and operational employees becoming redundant. Millions were left unemployed and devastated. However, humans still needed to work alongside machines in factories. This reminded me of a topic I read the other day by Jerry Kaplan, who's an academic university lecturer at Stanford University, who was speaking about automation today. And this is what he said. He said, "Today, automation is blind to the color of your collar. Whether you're a factory worker, a financial advisor, or a professional flute player, automation is coming for you." We all need to start thinking about how automation will affect our careers. And myself, as an aspiring chartered accountant, I've really started thinking about these things and how automation is going to change the game in the financial services space. Because recently, NMQRL launched a machine learning unit trust. So you can imagine how that is changing in the investment side of financial services. If a machine is able to filter data and then make financial decisions for investors, I mean, that is basically just changing the game right there and there. So, what made me write this article about the fourth industrial revolution was that I realized that the fourth industrial revolution will demand major changes and will have positive and detrimental effects in the global economy. Have you ever wondered how artificial intelligence and the dawn of the fourth industrial revolution will shape our future? I really think it's something to think about. The major difference between the industrial revolution and the technological revolution, which is happening right now, is that the technological revolution is taking place at an exponential rate. You can imagine, you go in the internet right now. There's probably new programs, there's probably new applications, there's probably new processes of doing things right there and there. And that's the reality of the fourth industrial revolution. And I was reading a report from Business Insider, if I'm not mistaken, in which Sizwe Ngasana commented and said, as South Africans, we have to either disrupt or be disrupted in the fourth industrial revolution. And so when I looked at this, I looked at some of the problems that might occur as a result of the fourth industrial revolution. One opportunity I saw for the South African Revenue Services, which is SARS, is that this could mean more revenue for SARS, because what artificial intelligence is literally trying to do is replace some human capital. And so salaries are a major expense in most companies. And so you can imagine if companies are able to decrease their operating expenditure, this is a more opportunity for SARS to get more revenue. But obviously looking at this on a narrow perspective. Secondly, for SARS, this could mean that they might lose out on personal income taxes, because if companies are retrenching more, that means companies won't have to pay people's salaries, which means people won't have a means to live. And one of the biggest problems I also looked at was the fact that the revenue services made 284 billion on VAT collections. So this could be a problem in terms of VAT collections, where people are spending less as a result of not having these salaries, and it could be a very big problem in the future. And these are things we're supposed to start thinking about as South Africans, because artificial intelligence is really here to stay, and it's really shaping how things are going in the global economy.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
brandlive.co.za.
You're back again on Brand Live with Wandile Ngobese. We're still talking about artificial intelligence and how it will affect the South African economy. And as I was speaking about it, so the biggest debate right now is whether SARS would allow a deduction for artificial intelligence. Since salaries are a deductible tax expenditure, one interesting thing I'd like to know is whether artificial intelligence or investment in artificial intelligence would be allowed as a deduction, as expenditure in the year that it's incurred, or as capital expenditure. Because in either sense, it will mean more revenue for SARS at 28% using the SARS tax rate, obviously. So for me, writing this article was obviously a point of trying to bring that awareness of artificial intelligence. If you look at countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, China, and how rapidly artificial intelligence is changing the game in those countries. Because I was reading a report and it says in China alone, there's 24 terabytes of data that gets filtered on a daily basis. I don't know, for me that's a very big number, 24 terabytes. And so my suggestion would be that the South African government needs to identify industries and jobs that will be exposed to the great risk of being replaced by artificial intelligence. This will mitigate obviously the downside and pave the way for adequate planning for retraining of some of the individuals who will see their skills become redundant. This will obviously require some restructuring of some university and college programs, because some people are still studying things that will become redundant in the next 5 years. And if government spend more money on research on how artificial intelligence would affect South Africans, it will also allow them to obviously start implementing the necessary policies to facilitate the transition. Because like I said when the show started, artificial intelligence is literally going to be about disrupting or being disrupted. Because if you look at the first industrial revolution again and how everything just changed the game. So now as South Africans, are we going to be responsive or are we going to be proactive? And that's one thing we need to realize quickly. And I'd recommend we start being proactive when it comes to obviously technology and start placing ourselves on a wider scale when it comes to investment on artificial intelligence. So the other day I was actually watching Rick and Morty. I don't know if you listeners actually watch animation, but Rick and Morty is basically a science animation. And they were basically, what happened was the same. They were talking about the concept of artificial intelligence. So what Ricky did was he invented this helmet for the family dog, which made the family dog smarter. And then the family dog used that helmet, and so the family dog did eventually become smarter than the humans. And so the family dog went about to create more helmets for the other dogs in the neighborhood. And in actual sense, what happened was the dogs took control of the neighborhood. And eventually the dogs were like, okay, they negotiated, and then they realized that they were going to move to a new planet. So I was thinking, imagine if artificial intelligence or robots actually become the first inhabitants of the other planets. It'll be a very, very interesting thing to watch and see. And I'm very, very, very I'm looking forward to see how artificial intelligence is obviously going to change the space.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za. You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Stash and Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Rataka, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
The witty Chatterbots join myself, Carmen Murray, and my double trouble, Jessica McIndoe, with our big personalities, and we will present you with an insightful yet fun show.
We will feature interviews with industry heavyweights and unpack everything from new technologies, marketing trends, and case studies to empower you to be ahead of the curve.
Brand Live.
Join us on this exciting journey every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and start a conversation on hashtag Witty Show.
Hashtag WITEE Show.
Thank you.
You're back again with me, Wandi Lengobese, on Brand Live. If you want to join the conversation, you can follow us on Twitter at Brand Live Radio, or you can join us at Facebook at www.brandlive.co.za, or you can send us an email at info@brandlive.co.za. So we're still talking about artificial intelligence. That's our topic for the day. And one element I was also looking at is the fact that since artificial intelligence is going to be competing against humans, then humans will have to change some of their disciplines. It's either humans are going to be reduced in totality, or humans would have to compete against robots or artificial intelligence. And my biggest problem with this is the fact that humans are exposed to market risk, which includes your inflation, your interest rates, and your currency fluctuations. And that's why salaries have to obviously constantly increase, and that's why humans do need salaries at the end of the day. So now, if you're expecting human beings to compete against something that's indifferent to, for example, inflation, the cost of living, it means the playing field is not level, which I foresee is a very big problem, is going to be a very big problem. And with us as a country having to obviously start doing more research when it comes to artificial intelligence, it's that point where we have to place ourselves in the global space, because a lot of countries right now are starting to implement artificial intelligence. I mean, if you look at Amazon, what they're doing in the United States of America when it comes to retail, the retail space, so basically the concepts they've come up with are shopping centers where there aren't any tellers. So you can imagine if tellers are starting to lose their jobs, and you look at at the vast amount of South Africans. I mean, you go to a mall today, you go to for example, a ShopRite. The people, there's probably going to be 12 people serving you there by the tellers. So if you can imagine, if those people lose their jobs, where are they going after that? And that's why government should actually start researching more on this on this conversation, because if these people lose their jobs, they're obviously going to look at government. They're going to look to government for welfare assistance. And as we know at the moment, our South African government is going through like a major turbulence when it comes to obviously revenue collections, as SARS is inefficient there when it comes to revenue collections. So which means there's already under provision for revenue. And that's the reality we foresee as Brand Live, as for the vast amount of South Africans. And so if you look at interest rates and currency fluctuations as well, if robots are indifferent to this, but humans are exposed to this risk, it means humans will have to also understand financial literacy on a better scale. Because if you do not understand financial literacy in the fourth industrial revolution, I honestly think you are going to have a really, really big problem when it comes to planning for the future, when it comes to planning for artificial intelligence. Because another thing these machines are bringing in, better investment plans. I was actually talking to my one friend the other day about financial technology, and obviously the opportunities that financial technology opens up. But we as a country are not facilitating the education for people to understand financial technology. So we're sitting in a situation where people have all these resources, they have these technologies, but they do not know how to start investing. Because, for example, if you want to buy forex, if you want to buy shares in companies, there's financial technology that's there to allow you to do those things. But if you don't even know what compound interest is, how are you going to go about investing? And those are the things we are supposed to cover, and those are the things the show is going to cover throughout the season for the show. And we looking at various things, and artificial intelligence was obviously our first topic for today, and we'd like to converse more about investing, and obviously having sound financial literacy standards as a country.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. Brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we're an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. Brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat. You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Fashion Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Rathaga, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.
You're back on Brand Live Radio with your host, Wandile Ngobese. You can follow us on Twitter at Brand Live Radio or Facebook at www.brandlive.co.za. Or you can pop us an email at info@brandlive.co.za. So I actually just got a message from my side from someone asking which are the least safe jobs of when it comes to automation. I know the jobs that are very, very at high risk when it comes to being replaced by artificial intelligence are your cashiers and I think your call centers as well. Because if you look at your cashiers and you look at what Amazon is doing in the United States, as I mentioned before, it's basically replaced the human need to have humans there, physically there. When you can have cameras, you can have technology that allows people to shop and not have to stand in a queue first of all and wait for a teller who is probably not in the best of moods. And so it also brings about those differences, and we also have to note those differences. And another thing was, I was thinking, remember, I don't know if you guys know I thought like to know this, but back in the day, whenever you had like a project or research article, you'd probably go to an editor or someone to like proofread your thing and probably like edit it and just look for punctuation or grammatical errors and all those things. But now there's technology like Grammarly, where you can just upload your research your research theory or your research project, and then you have a computer doing it for you. And so in that space, humans have already been replaced by artificial intelligence. So it's I honestly think it's something we need to start thinking about and something we need to start talking about more. And like I said, you can join the conversation right now at Brand Live Radio or email us at info@brandlive.co.za. And if you want to find more articles regarding artificial intelligence that I've written, you can follow me on LinkedIn and we can join the conversation there. That's it for the day from my side, Wandile Ngobese. I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.